Hello, I'm Dan Lyles with Lyles Insurance. This video is about understanding the auto insurance policy expiration and renewal process. When you approach the expiration date on your auto insurance policy, usually within a month from the expiration date, companies will reevaluate your status and then make you a renewal offer for the upcoming policy period. Becoming familiar with this process not only gives you a better understanding of how things work, but it can also help you save money. And this information applies whether you have a 6-month auto insurance policy or a 12-month policy. So what do companies look at when they determine renewal prices? Well, here's 4 of the major things. Number 1, driving record. Have you picked up any accidents or tickets since your policy period started? If so, that's going to count against you and probably raise your premium. And likewise, has anything fallen off of your record since the policy period started? Remember that companies, some of them go back 3 years, others go back 5 years. But once you hit that anniversary date of one or the other, you're going to see a drop in price, or should see a drop in price, at your next renewal. Number 2 is credit history. Has your credit score went up, down, or stayed the same? Not all companies look at this, but some of them do, so keep that in mind. And also, due to the new law, this will not apply to Michigan drivers. This only applies to my customers in Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia. Number 3 is payment history. For those of you who pay every month as you go on your policy, are you making your payments on the due date or before? Many companies will lower your rate if you make your payments on time when you come up to your next expiration renewal period, versus some companies, on the other hand, will raise your rate if you have a habit of paying late or lapsing. And on top of all of that, late fees can get very costly. So always try to make your payments on time by the due date or earlier. Number 4, excessive number of changes to your policy. The companies don't mind making changes to your policy. For example, if you moved, changed vehicles, needed to add or delete a driver, those kind of things, that's fine. That's what they're there for. But if you're constantly making changes, companies frown on that and they may slightly raise your rates because of it. One last thing I'd like to mention is that companies make rate adjustments all the time. So if you're looking at your renewal offer and the prices are considerably higher or lower than what you were paying, and you looked at the previous 4 things and thought, well, that doesn't explain why, just understand that sometimes it's because companies adjust their prices. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. You have no control of that, of course. This has more to do with whether or not your company is making or losing money in your area. But just understand, if you can't figure out why your prices have changed drastically, this could be a reason. Before we finish, there are 3 more key points that you should understand. Number 1 is flying under the radar. When you first start a new auto insurance policy, companies are always going to run your driving record initially. However, when you come to those expiration renewal periods every 6 to 12 months, they're not going to run your driving record every time. They only do them on a random basis because it saves them money. So consider yourself very lucky if you picked up a speeding ticket and you're not being dinged for it on your renewal offer, because it doesn't happen very often. Number 2 is prior insurance discount. And this one can save you a lot of money, because companies give big discounts when you've had prior insurance. So when you shopped around, if you didn't have prior insurance before, once you have a renewal offer, you now have 6 months at least of coverage, if not 12. And so this qualifies you for a discount. So if you don't see a drop in price in your renewal offer, this is a great time for you to shop around again for lower rates, because some companies give bigger discounts for it than others. Number 3, avoid the one-day lapse trap. And what I mean by this applies to those of you who have found a cheaper rate with a new company, and at your expiration you're ready to switch to the new company, and you want to set the start date to where there's no gaps in between or no overlap either. So to do that, what you need to do is make sure that the start date of the new policy is same as the expiration date on the old policy. And the reason is, on the old policy, when they mean, let's say it expires on July the 15th, they mean 12:01 a.m. of that day. So really, your coverage expired at 11:59 p.m. on July the 14th. So don't make this mistake, because you're actually leaving a 24-hour gap to where you don't have insurance. For those of you who live in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Virginia, or West Virginia, if you would like for me to personally run you a quote, I will be very happy to do so. I've left a web page from my site to where you can get an online quote. I'll also post that link below the video to make it easier for you to click on. Or if you'd rather get a quote by phone, I've also listed my phone number. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.